Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to an early morning podcast in the US, but an afternoon podcast if you live in Italy. So we have a special guest. When we were talking before we went on the air, I have never seen anybody that has a very simple, clear message of what she does. But I'm going to let her introduce herself, who she is, what she does, and who she serves, and then we're going to get into the podcast. Aleksandra, would you please introduce yourself to our guests, or
Hi,
to our viewers?
everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Pete. Thank you for having me. So my
Yes.
name is Aleksandra Di Gesaro, and I'm a photographer. I come from Poland, but I live in Italy, like you said. So I have 15 years of experience of working as a photographer. I worked mostly as fashion photographer. I've worked with model agencies, magazines, Milan Fashion Week, influencers, you name it. And I decided I wanted to do something more with my experience because, as much as I love all the glam and I love taking fashion pictures, I was somehow feeling I'm telling women they are ugly unless they buy XYZ. And that's not exactly the message I want to send.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to use my expertise. And now I help entrepreneurs increase their confidence and show their authenticity on camera so that they can attract their ideal clients. And I work mostly with women, not only, but mostly with women, two kinds of women. So one are entrepreneurs that are totally camera shy, that are just starting out. They have no idea how to start. They don't like how they look. They are afraid of being judged. And so we are trying to overcome those mental blocks and help them get on camera as quickly and as easily as possible. And the second group that I serve are ladies, as I said, mostly ladies, who are camera
Mm-hmm.
confident, but maybe they don't know how to use all their potential. They don't know how to pose, they don't know how to dress, how to take pictures or videos of their own from the best angles to show their best. So this is what I do and who I work with.
Well, I tell you, it warms my heart. We were laughing before we came on the air. I have two girls, two sisters, five granddaughters. So I'm surrounded by girls. So I understand a little bit of what you're saying because whenever we would take a picture, I would have to run it by my daughters before they would approve of it being posted. So I know that there's a difference in really how we look at guys and girls. Girls are more, pretty, and I want to make sure they're. What do you think in your business? I love the idea when you talk about camera ready and preparing for that. What do you see in your business as you transition from a photographer to video? What's the biggest challenge you hear out there in your business with female entrepreneurs?
So,
Being camera.
women taking pictures, mostly fashion pictures, portrait pictures. These were people who wanted to be on camera. So
Mhm.
my job was to make them look good and feel good in front of camera, but mostly they already wanted it. Instead, transitioning now to mentoring ladies, I see that many of them are like forcing themselves or need to be forced. Like, I have to do this for my business, but I don't want to. So I
Mhm.
think this is the biggest difference between taking pictures and going on camera.
So what do you take? I mean, I that makes sense. So somebody does have to have that motivation to want to change or want to put themselves out there. So how do you take them through like a framework or a journey that they're, willing to put themselves out there and accept your input, and what do you do for your clients that helps them be more confident?
So we have to discover the reason of what's going on, what's stopping you. And let me tell you that from my market research, it comes out that over 90% of ladies struggle with going on camera because of mental blocks.
Wow.
It can be
That's incredible.
all divided. There are 5 reasons, only 5 reasons why
Okay.
we go on camera. 4 of them are mental. So
Yes.
number 1 is I'm afraid of being judged. Number 2 is I don't like how I look and sound. Number 3 is I get nervous and I'm afraid I will forget what to say. And number 4 is I don't like not having the real audience. And only less than 10% gives the technical reasons, like I don't know how to set the lighting, or I don't know what to wear, or anything like this.
That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
that was fascinating when I started, because when I was creating my first webinar, I wanted to make it all about the technical stuff. I'm a photographer, I love that.
Mhm.
And then I did this research. I was like, whoa. And I like completely remodeled the whole webinar. So what I do, for my clients, we have to find the why, what is the problem, and we work mostly on overcoming those particular mental blocks. And then I help them. I'm a super equipment minimalist. I'm not a perfectionist. I just think it's important that you start. So I just try to support my clients and push them that they start as quickly, as easily as possible. Nothing fancy, no fancy equipment, no super complicated videos. I convince them that you can start very easily. Actually, ladies tell me, "Oh my God, you just made me excited. I thought it would be so complicated, and now it's what you showed me is so easy. It's totally doable." And then, of course, we move from there to improve the quality of video, what you're saying, and everything that you need.
That absolutely floors me, that research. I mean, I had no idea because, we do, I mean, as guys, we tend to go the technical side. Like, oh, I have a friend of mine and he said, I want to get into podcasting. Well, he bought everything for podcasting,
Yeah.
like the screens, the background, the mics, and all this kind of stuff. He had everything done. And so my partner is just like you said, progress, not perfection. Is so when he told me to get started, he says, Pete, just do it. You know, and he said, Zoom, just do. Okay, should I use StreamYard? Because I know he said, just keep it simple, but do it. You
Yeah.
know, what do I do this? What do I do this? And he was going, just do it. And so you follow that lead of just getting progress, not perfection. So I'm curious, like, how long does it take for your clients to kind of gain that confidence? Have you seen a frame of a consistency to like being in front of the camera 10 times, 5 times a month, 6 months? What have you seen in your work?
Everybody's a bit different. Everybody starts from a different point. So I don't have a particular time frame,
Mm-hmm.
but I give them the homework like after the first session and just do this super simple video, but do it. Like, as you said, it's important to gain momentum. It's important to start because your confidence comes also from the fact that you did it, that you already
Yes.
did, no matter how simple the thing is. So yeah, I just try to push them to make it, and practice makes perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
you just gain confidence while doing, and from practicing and getting more and more on camera. So yeah, it depends on a person, and also on your will of doing doing the job and actually getting on it, but also from the level of the blogs, because I know from my experience that even not long ago, I did not want to do lives, and I was in some groups that were. I became a photographer not to be in front of camera. Now it's ironic because I am in front of camera. But I was in groups that were saying, okay, let's make this challenge, go live for 21 days, and you will just get used to it. Well, perfect. I never did the day one. because it was too big a step for me.
Hmm.
So I really sympathize with my clients, and I know that it can, if you want, that's great, do it. But I know that for some it may be too difficult. So we start from really baby steps to make sure that we get to the point.
That I love that transition that you described to our viewers from photography still to video, because the internet's going to video, so it makes sense that people can transition. What got you, like, initially, for our viewers to understand, when you got into photography, what was your motivation there? What did you like about that you wanted to get into that type of business?
Oh, photography. I don't know. It just came naturally. I started taking pictures when I was, I don't know, 12.
Hmm.
So it was just a hobby. I got my first digital camera and I started taking pictures of everything.
Hmm.
And, I think it was in my family. My dad is a passionate photographer. My grandfather was passionate about photography.
Oh
So
my.
it's kind of my
Yeah.
uncle. So it's kind of, don't know, in my blood. And
Yeah.
then I just decided I wanted to pursue this career, and just it got more serious about it. I went to school, and yeah, it just evolved, so it came very naturally to me. And as you're saying, is internet is evolving into video, and video is very important, but I'm not completely abandoning the photography. I also help
Mhm.
ladies with
Sure.
branding photo shoots because they often don't know what to expect, how to prepare, and also how to take pictures of themselves on their own. Because you can have a branding photo shoot, but you can't repost the same pictures over and over and over. You need some new material that you maybe can just take pictures of yourself. So I'm also helping with that, but obviously mostly focusing on video.
Yeah, this is fascinating because to see that you're in your blood. I mean, to have photography in your blood, but in then taking that skill of photography and transitioning to where videos, I mean, obviously video was not a big deal back with your grandfather, but so so it's evolving, but you've evolved. What do you think your entrepreneurs that grasp your training, your understanding, your techniques, and your coaching, what are they saying to you after they are down that road? Because to be an entrepreneur, we're always learning and growing. What are some of your clients saying to you? Like, do they the light bulb go off at a certain point and they gain that confidence? What are they telling you they're able to do so our viewers can understand if they're hesitating and moving in that direction?
So most of them just tell me, oh, it's easier than I thought. because
Really?
because
Mhm.
most of them, obviously, we think we have to start to know with a 1 hour live or 20-minute tutorial for YouTube, or something like this. Like, especially as ladies, we overthink things and we have find million excuses why we shouldn't do it. And so I always try to find a solution that just works for the particular client, how to make it easier. For example, I had a lady who is a video editor, and she just hates showing her face. She wants to just make tutorials about editing videos, but she says, okay, I need to make the intro and outro. I have to show myself to create a brand. But I like hesitate to start. I said, okay, just make the first tutorial without your face. You can always add it, re-edit it, repost it. It's okay. Just add the first one so that you see that you posted, and then you can start with having just a thumbnail of your image in the corner. You don't have to show your huge face, so it's just very small, but you are there. And then you will move to having the intro and outro of your whole face. So it wasn't such a big big steps. There were baby steps, and it was totally doable. Another one, was afraid to talk to the camera. Said, okay, let's make 5 second video where you don't talk on camera.
Ah,
And
yeah.
just, you working, and we add a text overlay on it, and you are providing value. And so this way, finding those, solutions for everybody, that is like easy for them, they're like, oh yeah, that's easier than I thought. That's doable. I can do it.
Yeah, I like the baby steps thing that you're describing. Those kind of things, long as there's steps forward, I think it's easy for our viewers to to grasp the idea that you don't have to be, the expert the first month, but you have to take steps forward each time. So what would the iPhone, every time they come out with a new iPhone, the camera becomes better, bigger, graphic. What would you tell our viewers just that have an iPhone and they like to take pictures with their camera? What tips could you give them, like just generally some tips to think about when they're taking, you always capturing that moment or the what would you tell our viewers?
So generally, one of the biggest mistakes I notice when unprofessional photographers are taking pictures is taking pictures from too far. And they think you know what the subject of the picture is. Like
Mhm.
I often get a picture or a video, and it's like this huge video, and there is this one point that is actually the important one. Okay, just
Yeah.
get. So my point would be, my advice would be get closer and show really what make it clear what the subject of the photo is, because yeah, it's often confusing.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because when you work with a interior designer, they talk about the vocal point, like what's your vocal point in this setting here? We want to pull this out. So yeah, I can definitely relate to the if you understand, and when I like Unsplash because those pictures are just like so good, and you see a common theme of that vocal point in those pictures that they're pulling out, and it's usually close up, because you can't have a vocal point from far away unless you're making the mountain or something like that the vocal point, but it's the idea of bringing that out. So I'm fascinated by your understanding of this, but I understand it's in your blood, so it makes you've had some good training. What do you see like coming up like in the next year or so in what you're training and helping your clients with? What are some of the things that you're trying to address? Because we're always solving problems as entrepreneurs. What do you see that you're helping your clients with coming up?
Well, mostly help them with getting on video and convincing them why it's important, because I still
Mhm.
get comments like, "Oh, I refuse to fall under this pressure of going on video." Or I've been in business for 12 years. I've built my business without ever going on camera. I'm not going to do it now. And I try to educate my clients that yes, we are solopreneurs. The beauty of it is you can decide, but
Mhm.
it's not that it's a pressure and it's a fashion or whatever. There are like statistics for it. It's that it's video is working. You get much more engagement. The social media platforms are pushing the video, so the algorithms favor video. And I found statistics that 82% of web traffic is dedicated to video. So if you are refusing to create videos, you are refusing 82% of your audience. Like, you can still decide to do it, just be
Yeah.
aware that you are only talking to 18% of people. So, I'm trying to convince people, and educate them about that, because, as I say, many still don't see the need to do it, and it's just blocking their businesses.
Yeah, that's a great stat that you said, 82%. And I think our viewers, they know video is important. But until you told me 82%, because I got into it about 5 years ago and it was 70, low 70s plus. And so I hadn't heard an update until you shared with our viewers 82. But yeah, so if you're not pursuing video, you're eliminating 82% of your audience. That's crazy. That when you think about that way, that, because we talked very briefly about your busy schedule, that we have to, as entrepreneurs, protect our time and be real aware of when we're putting an hour in, 10 minutes in, 5 minutes in, that we're doing the most effective, because I'm big on 80-20. I've always loved that whole concept of going 80-20, 80-20, 80-20, and keep multiplying it down. What would you say as we wind down a little bit? What would be, I want you to first tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you. And that way, because this is fascinating that you are doing such a very specific skill that's needed out there. So share with our viewers how they can get a hold of you and get your services.
So definitely, I invite the viewers to join my Facebook group. That is Female Entrepreneurs Create Confidence on Camera, where I share videos, I share my tips, starting a series of live videos with experts. So it's very exciting. I'm also on LinkedIn as Aleksandra Di Gesaro, and you can also find me on Instagram as Empowering Lens.
That is awesome. And we'll put, for anybody listening to it on audio and they're driving in their car, we don't want you to have to write down anything. So it'll be in the show notes, her links and her information, so you can get a hold and really I think for our female entrepreneurs to really grasp how they can leverage that 82% that's out there, that if you really want to make an impact out in your business, you have to go on that journey of what you just described to our viewers, is being comfortable, confident behind, the camera. And what would you, I want you to just give our parting as we wind down, because I know I could talk all day long about this subject, because I'm going to share it with my girls, because, I always want, I think it's the judgment thing, I think it's like, well, what if my hair is there and they think I'm like messy, whatever. But I think you're right about that, feeling judged by our appearance. So what insight would you want our viewers to take away as we wind down?
There are many, but first of all, I think the biggest one, as the biggest issue, is the one you said about, it's about being judged. I think that you have to learn to be kinder to yourself, and you have to learn that people don't look at you as you look at yourself. So for them, you don't sound weird, you sound normal. You sound weird for yourself because you perceive your voice differently. Mm-hmm. And also, people really won't notice that one dot on your cheek or that one hair that isn't the way you like. People mostly, they just want to know what's in it for me. So they just care about the value you are providing, and they will forget very fastly, even if you stumble, even if you make a mistake, they won't care. It's about the message and the value you can provide for them. And actually, the more authentic and real you are, the more they can identify with you and they can relate to you. So I think that's how just learning to understand it makes you change your thoughts and just get on camera.
That is, wow. We call it, in like baseball terms, you knocked it out of the park. Really, I was excited when I looked at your LinkedIn profile, and because I had kind of forgot that we booked this quite a while ago, and it was like at 6:30 in the morning for me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm an early riser anyway, so. But my next podcast is coming from Barcelona, so this is a kind of an international morning. And so thank you so much for being a wonderful guest. we appreciate you taking your time out to share with our viewers some valuable tips on being confident and how to use video to grow your business as a entrepreneur. We thank you and I guess, good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You're welcome.